All right, so let's without any further ado, let's get started. Before we get started, I would like to understand from you all that what level you are in terms of like ACCA. I know that you guys are in professional level, but since this is the first paper, I just want to understand. I want to ask a few questions, and you can respond in the chat box. It'll be more or less yes or no questions, so that you can just say yes or no, and or type in yes, etc. First, I would like to understand about the crowd. How many of you are exemption route of ACCA? Anyone in the exemption route of ACCA? Exemption, like in the sense you have got exempted for FR. I'm not talking about 5 papers. I'm talking about the 9 paper. Okay. Anyone who's in the exemption route? Yeah. Darshan, Femia. Okay. Anyone who is attempting SBR the second time? Any resit students? 6 is fine. Anyone who is exempted for FR? That's Please mention that anyone who is attempting SBR for the second time, you guys are a resit student, like you have written it in the past, but you couldn't clear. Anyone there? Or you can raise your hand as well. Resit. Okay, Alan is a resit. Okay. Anyone else who's attempting the SBR paper for the second time? Okay, very good. So majority of your students, around 19 people, 18 people are attempting for the first time. Um, first time, and very few people are attempting it. Only one person who's attempting it at the second time. That's okay. No worries for that. Um, okay. Anyone who is completed other papers of P level and coming SBR as the second paper or the third paper of P level? Anyone who have completed their any other paper of P level? Okay, so it's all first P level AFM. So Alan has completed AFM. Yeah. Okay, good. So for majority of you guys, again, P level, this is the first time that you guys are writing, and majority of you guys are completed your FR, and this is your first level. This is your second level of financial reporting for SBR. A few students have taken exemption of FR, and a few students are having resit exams for SBR, and a few students have completed other papers of P level. Okay, good, makes sense. Now, what I'm going to do in this particular session is actually to give you information about SBR. Now, when I say about SBR, I'm going to talk about firstly, what is financial reporting as a whole? Okay. Then I'm going to talk about what is SBR. Then I'm going to talk about why SBR is very relevant and why it is important for an ACCA student. I'm going to take you through the syllabus and the study guide. I'm going to take you through the exam pattern, and I'm going to take you through the study plan. And also, I'm going to take you through uh, how you can crack, or I'm going to discuss with you how you can pass this paper in the first attempt, or if you're writing it in the second attempt, in this attempt, how can you pass the paper? These are the few things that we are going to discuss. Now, this is very important and very vital that it is very important and very vital that you guys are actually completing your topics on timely basis, because that's what is actually the most important aspect of SBRS. Before I start or discuss about SBR, I would like to tell a few things which might scare you, but it'll help you to prepare well and plan well. I'm also going to tell you about certain things which you might feel very happy about. Okay. So in ACCA, when you enter the P level, there is an expectation that similar pattern of exams are there for P level itself. Like how I have written the skill level, I have to write it in the similar way or in the similar pattern. So that is not true. Okay, that is not true. P level, you are required to give more effort. You have to sit from the shoes of an accountant or shoes of an employer rather than from the shoes of a student. The reason why I'm telling you this is because majority of the students, when they come to the P level, they are very excited, but they don't understand or they feel where they lack is actually on how to write the exam or how to attempt a particular question. The structure of the exam in F level or in the skill level and P level or professional level are totally different. There is a huge difference between the structure of exams in skill level versus the structure of exams in professional level. That is very important for you to understand that the structure, because if you don't understand the structure, you will not be able to understand how to attempt a particular question. Second is SBR as a paper, the depth of the syllabus is very vast. The syllabus is very vast. Whatever you have studied in FR, everything can be tested in SBR, which means it's 100% of FR. Additionally, there are few topics which are exclusive for SBR. So at around 30 to 40%, there are SBR topics. But 100% of FR topics are within SBR. So I would put it as around 130% of what you have studied in FR, you have for SBR. So that syllabus is very vast. The syllabus is very vast. And finally, SBR is not a paper which you need to calculate or you need to prepare a financial statement. No, you are in the final level and ACCA expects you to have a degree of understanding of the syllabus and understanding of the concepts in detail rather than preparing financial statement and showing it to the examiner. No, that's not what is required. You are not just required to calculate the numbers and show to the examiner. No. They want you to think. They want you to explain. They want you to articulate. They want you to go deeper into the concept. Give examples. Link to the scenarios. Right? So if you believe that I can study somehow or study something and go and write the paper, please don't think like that. It is going to be really difficult. If you think that if I write something, I might get marks for my calculations. No, you might not. Even if you have a calculation, if you don't do any explanation, you will lose marks for your calculation as well. They are not here to test your calculations. They are here to test your explanations. Around 70 marks, if I'm not wrong, around 70 to 80 marks, it's all about explanation. Only 20 marks to 25 marks, you might have some kind of calculations. That's it. Third is that SBR, many students feel that, you know what, it's already it's FR. So the effort that is required for SBR is very less. You know what, there's not much of an effort needed. Why? Because I'm very good in FR. I've studied FR very well. I've scored 90 plus. I've scored 80 plus. I've scored 75 plus. So I don't need much of an effort in SBR. Not necessarily. You have to put the same and more effort for SBR if you want to pass the paper in the first attempt. The primary reason is because you would have forgotten many topics that you would have taken in FR. The chances of forgetting the concepts are very high in SBR because as I told you, the syllabus ka depth is very, very vast. The depth of the syllabus is very, very vast. Finally, I would like to tell you about this that SBR has a very good pass percentage. It always is above 50 to 52%. So the pass percentage is very high. Also, the scoring marks are also very high. It is not that students fail SBR very frequently. They don't fail that much. There are high chances in P level itself, specifically in India, that we pass SBR, right? So that is what is all about SBR, as I wanted to convey that part. Now, before I even get started with the concept, I would like to ensure that all students, you are sitting in front of me. And when you're listening to me, just take a minute to understand that you're going to write an exam in English. And I would really recommend that you watch the videos in English and try to think in English. Because as I told you, SBR is all about discussion. So when I'm explaining something, if you're not able to understand well, I can try to communicate in your local language, right? But it is very important as a student that you listen to me in English language, because that will help you to remember the topics and remember the concepts or remember the explanations when you are listening. And to write it, it becomes easy for you, because as we progress, it will help you to write well in your examinations. All right. So with that, we will get started. I'm going to talk about, first and foremost, I'm going to talk about financial reporting as a concept. Okay, let me just share my screen. Give me a minute, please. Okay, I hope you can all see my screen. Are you all able to see my screen? Okay, wonderful. Okay. Now, first, let us understand what is the roadmap or what is the way of accounting. How is accounting done? Whenever you listen or whenever you understand about accounting, one thing I need to mention here is that accounting is a language. Accounting is like a language that you have, like you have Hindi, you have Malayalam, you have English. Accounting is just another language. Accounting is a language through which you communicate to the stakeholders. It is a language through which you explain to the stakeholders in a simple, summarized, concised format of how your business is doing. That's it. Accounting is nothing else other than a language. And every language has certain rules. Like in English, we have alphabets. In accounting, we have what? The double entry bookkeeping system, the basic rule of journal entry. We have the golden rules of accounting. What is it? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out, debit the receiver, credit the giver, etc. So we have to debit and credit something. We have to debit all expenses, assets, correct? And we have to credit all income gains and liabilities. Income gain, liabilities, and equity. These are the things that we have to credit. So like we have alphabets in any language. In Hindi, we have alphabets. English, we have alphabets. Malayalam, we have alphabets. Accounting has debit and credit. Through these debit and credit, we communicate with the stakeholders, specifically the shareholder or the investor, on how our business is performing. If you understand the debit and credit of the transaction, if you understand what should be debited and what should be credited, you have understood the first step of the language. That's the first step of the language, is to understand all the debits and all the credits. I'm not going to very much detail into the debits and credits. But however, I will give you a summary which you can use it always to understand how to debit and what to debit and what to credit. Okay. So there is debit, there is credit. If it is an asset, when an asset increases, what you do? You debit it. When an asset decreases, you credit. The next one is you have liabilities. If it is a liability, when a liability increases, what you do? When a liability increases, what you do? You credit it. Whereas when a liability decreases, you debit. If it is an equity, when an equity increases, you credit. And when an equity decreases, you debit. When you have income, similar to that of equity and liability, when an income increases, you credit. When an income decreases, you debit. When you have an expense, when an expense increases, you debit. When an expense decreases, you credit. So as you can see, these two follow the similar rule, correct? And these three follows the similar rule. Yes or no? Right? So this is the first step of understanding the language of accounting, is to understand the alphabets. And what are the alphabets? We have just how many rules? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You take any transaction. You take any transaction in the entire world, whatever transaction happens, it happens through these 5 categories or these 5 elements: asset, liability, equity, income, and expense. We might call certain income as revenue. We might call certain income as gain. We might call certain income as something. But anything that comes into our business is considered like an income, right? Anything that goes out, when money comes in, is considered as an income, and anything that goes out is considered as an expense, correct? Right? So like that, we have all these categories and these 5 elements alone, through which we need to post the journal entry of debiting and crediting it. And this is the primary rule that we need to understand for a debit and a credit transaction. Right? Once you understand what to debit and what to credit in a transaction, when you receive a transaction, when you understand what to debit and what to credit, then comes the secondary rule, which is called as the standards. And like we have in English or like we have in Hindi, right? There are certain additional rules to make your language beautiful. Like in English, we have verbs, adverbs, pronouns, etc. Right? Likewise, in accounting also, we have something that is called as standards, which makes your transaction beautifully presented, or which will make your transaction presented in a much better format. Apart from standard, there are also additional things that is called as the conceptual framework. Correct? So I would put it as, instead of just IFRS, I would put it as conceptual framework and IFRS. Conceptual framework and IFRS. Your conceptual framework is your foundation. you take a building, okay, if you take a building, any building, right, your conceptual framework is your foundation. Whereas each floor is like a standard IFRS. Your foundation has to be very strong. The foundation is the stepping stone for a very good building. Foundation gives rules across various standards that this is how we have to do the accounting. In conceptual framework, you have various concepts like going concern concept, business entity concept. You have a concept that is called as matching concept. You have a concept that is called as prudence concept. All these concepts or all these frameworks help us to build a better story in standard and a better presentation into the financial statement. And that's what we are trying to understand here. And in FR, you would have learned in a simpler way or in a detailed way the calculations of the standard. Whereas in SBR, we are going to learn much more detail and we are going to tell, oh, you know what? If you know how to speak a language, we are also going to get more advanced level of communication. That's what we are learning in SBR. That's all. Whatever you have learned in FR, pretty much the same thing is going to be tested in SBR. But additionally, if you are becoming in an advanced level, there are certain way of examining. There are certain way that examiner thinks that since you are an advanced level, you might be knowing this. So that's why they're going to deep test you in SBR, not just your IFRS standards, but they will test you your conceptual framework as well as your IFRS standards. So you are required to learn about all these concepts as well and present to the stakeholder how it is deviating or present to the examiner how it is deviating from the conceptual framework. Any scenario that is given to you, you need to sit and explain that why that conceptual framework is not met, why it is deviating from the conceptual framework, and what should have been done. So that is also an expectation in SBR. Right? That is also an expectation in SBR. Now, once you have understood or once you have learned the alphabet, second, you have learned the rules, the additional rules or additional advanced stages of your accounting. The third factor is nothing but is your presentation or recognizing, or you can call it as recording a particular transaction. Presentation to the stakeholders. Just imagine, go back to your school when you are in the first standard, second standard. How did you learn to speak a language? How did you learn to speak English? You started speaking English by learning the alphabets, by learning the verbs, adverbs, etc., by learning the pronunciation. And then finally, when you're communicating, you're able to communicate well. When you're reading, you're able to read well. When you're reading, you're able to understand what is being mentioned or what is being written in a specific books of in your English language. Similarly, once you have understood the alphabets of accounting, the debit and the credit, once you have understood the rules of the standards, then you need to use them to present it to your stakeholders regarding the performance of the business. And as an accountant, who are you? See, when I'm taking classes, I don't treat you as students. I don't like to treat you as students. You are not students in front of me. I'm treating each and every one of you, every individual, as an accountant of a company. Day one, what is the first thing you have to do is go and stand in front of a mirror. Go to your mirror near your wardrobe or anywhere in your bathroom, wherever you want to go in front of a mirror and say that you are an accountant of a company in a company that you want to work with. Or let's say you're an auditor. Say that in front of the mirror that you're an auditor for EY. And just don't say that you are an auditor of EY. Say that you are the audit partner of EY. If you want to work in an investment banking firm, stand in front of a mirror and say that I am the managing director of finance and accounts of Goldman Sachs. Or I am the managing director of JP Morgan, of the finance and accounts division of JP Morgan. Now, when you accept yourself that you are in that position, you will start to think like a boss. And that is very important when you're writing an exam. Because when you think from a student's perspective, you will not be ready to learn more. You will be like, let me be here and let someone else tell me this is what I have to do. The boss never tells anyone, isn't it? The boss never listens from anyone. If you're a boss, what do? You tell people. Correct? You will listen. Definitely you will listen. Without listening, the boss cannot function. But when you listen, you just don't listen to follow the rule. When you listen to argue. You will listen to mention your pointers. You will listen to counterpoint. You will listen to understand. That's what is needed in SBR. You can be a junior level or you can be a student when you are learning FR. Because in that time, you're learning everything for the first level. In fact, in FA, you are a student. In FR, you are a junior employee. But when it comes to SBR, you should think that you are the senior most person of an organization. Like senior most person of an organization. Listen, everyone, do what your mind says. So you're saying that's what the boss does, right? That's okay. Listen, I would put it as listen everyone, understand everyone, and then do according to what is required. That's what I would say. If you want to be a good leader, right? But anyway, choice. And when you present your stakeholders in your accounting as a transaction or in your accounting as a language, how the data is being presented. Let's look at that. It's a beautiful way that the data is presented. First and foremost, you get raw transactions. When you're working in an entity, nobody will come and tell you, oh, Prashant, here you go. We have a lease contract. No, they will give you a contract. Nobody will come and tell you, hey, you know what? This is a revenue, but it is a deferred revenue. The salesperson will not come and tell you, hey, this is a revenue, but it is a deferred revenue. No. When you're working in an organization, what they will do? They will make a sale. You would have got the advance. You would have got the money, but you have not delivered the goods. So you have to understand that transaction and recognize that in your books accordingly. They will buy an asset. Now you have to go and think whether it is what asset? Tangible asset, intangible asset, property, plant and equipment, this, that, investment. What is it? You need to sit and understand. You need to sit and decide. So first and foremost, you will be given the raw transaction. What you have to do in the raw transaction or what you have to do with the raw transaction. You look or you enter with the books of prime entry, which is called as your journal entry. The raw transactions are first transferred or commemorated or compared to the journal entries. From the journal entry, it goes through ledger balances or your ledger accounts. From ledger account, it goes to the trial balance. From the trial balance, it is divided into your financial statements. Statement of profit or loss, statement of financial position, statement of changes in equity, statement of cash flows, etc. Right? This is the roadmap for any transaction. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. This is what we do as an accountant. When you're sitting in a company and as an organization, this is what we do. We understand the transaction. We enter the journal entries. We prepare the ledger accounts. We summarize it into the trial balance. And from there, You take it into the financial statements, and majority of the time, as an accountant or in a financial reporting, you stop here. But in SBR, you don't stop here. You present it to your stakeholders. Earlier, we were only bothered about shareholders. Now, not anymore. We need to look at all the stakeholders. You present it to the stakeholders, right? You present it to the stakeholders, and you need to think from the stakeholder perspective what decisions they may take or how it might affect the decision-making capability of the users. See, just imagine if you post a wrong entry and the income is overstated, what will happen? Your revenue is overstated, profit is overstated, correct? You posted an entry, right? Let's say that you received a fund revenue in advance. Someone gave you money. You are working in a business. Someone gave us money, but we have not sold the goods. So what did we do? We received the money. So we received the money, but we have not sold the products. So it is a deferred revenue. But we recognize it as revenue. What will happen? Your profit or loss, revenue is overstated, profit is overstated, your equity, retained earnings is overstated. Now, what will the decision maker will do? Think from that. If it is an investor, oh, the revenue is good, let me invest in this business. He takes a wrong decision. If it is a banker, oh, the revenue is good, let me give him loan, wrong decision. If it is a supplier, oh, the company is making good revenue, let me give him more products for a credit period, higher credit period, wrong decision. If it is an employee, the company is doing really well, let me stick on with the company and I might get good bonus, wrong decision. So in SBR, you need to think not just from the perspective of an accountant or not just from the perspective of a business. We need to think from the perspective of a stakeholder. We need to understand how our decisions or our wrong accounting will lead to or affect the user of the financial statement. Who are the users of financial statement? Stakeholders. That is called as, that particular part of SBR or that particular subject of SBR is called as stakeholders perspective. There are questions being asked. Explain from the stakeholders perspective how this scenario will do and so. So you have to sit and explain from a stakeholder's perspective. If there is a wrong entry, what will happen? What will cause him? Why he will look at it in this direction, etc., etc., etc. A lot of things you will learn. But these are things that you will learn on the go. Like when you study, you will learn it. That's what I'm here to help you with. That's what I'm here to help you with. Now, any standard you take, right? You take any standard. The standard is very simple. It's not complicated at all. It is very simple. The standard just says, first of all, how to record a transaction, right? Second, it talks about the measurement. How do you measure? How do you portray the numbers? What amount should you include? The first one is how do you recognize? Okay, I'll put it as recognize, not record. Recognize. How do you recognize a transaction? What does recognize says? Let's say you purchased a car. What is that car for the business? Is it a tangible asset, non-intangible asset? Tangible asset. Is it a property, plant and equipment or some other asset? Property, plant and equipment. Is it an asset itself? It is used by the owner, expense. Let us say I bought an AC. Why my air condition in my company is considered as a PP, property, plant and equipment? See, when I'm buying an AC, my money is going out. When I spend for advertisement, what is happening? Money is going out. But advertisement expense is considered as an expense. Whereas buying an AC is considered as an asset. Can someone tell me why? So if I buy an AC, let's say in the business, if I buy an air conditioning, right, and use it in the premises, it is considered as an asset. Okay. To be very precise, it will be considered as PP. But at the same time, let us say that I spend for electricity expense or I spend for advertisement, correct? It is considered as an expense. Both are similar in nature, right? Why is it similar in nature? When you purchase an AC, what comes in? Your AC comes in or your asset comes in. What goes out? Cash or money goes out. When you have an electricity, what happens? What comes into the business? Usage of electricity comes in, correct? Usage of that particular expense comes in. What goes out? Money goes out. So in both cases, be it when you're buying an AC or be it when you are incurring an expense, both cases, money is going out. That is only permanent, right? Expense that gives benefit for more than one can be termed as an asset. Okay. Tangible or intangible. Long-term economic benefit in AC. Okay. So Ritam is saying long-term economic benefit. Yatish is saying any expense that gives benefit for more than one can be termed as an asset, tangible or intangible. More than 1 year, you mean. Okay. Long-term economic benefits. Yeah, these are all good answers. These are all expected answers. In what Yatish said, let us assume that I sold a product and people have not paid me money. I sold a product to Yatish and you have not paid me money. In my books, what I will consider as I will credit a sale and debit what? Receivable. Isn't receivable an asset? I'm not saying you're wrong. Receivable is not an asset. So let's say I sold a product to Yatish, and Yatish, you purchased the product from me, but you have not paid me money. It is not a fixed asset, but look at the term asset. Is it an asset or not? It is an asset. It is a current asset. You're right. It is an asset. It's not a fixed asset. It is a current asset, but it is an asset, right? See, first we need to understand the definition of an asset as a whole. What is the definition of an asset? Asset is an economic resource that is controlled by the entity. Asset, I'm talking about asset as a definition. Asset can be divided into non-current asset, current asset. Asset is an economic resource that is controlled by the entity, expected to receive economic benefits in future. That's what an asset says. Right? That's what an asset says. Now, that is the definition of an asset. A current asset is assets which might get realized within less than 1 year. For example, receivable. It gets realized in less than 1 year. Correct? Yeah, economic benefit. IA 16 is a tangible non-current asset. Now the asset flows through tangible non-current asset. In tangible non-current asset, we have property, plant and equipment. We have IAS 40, IA 16, property, plant and equipment, IAS 40. Correct. Financial asset, IFRS 9 is an asset. So asset, we have financial asset as an asset. Tangible asset is an asset. Intangible asset is an asset. IAS 36. Yeah, IAS 36 or IAS 38, I'm sorry. Yeah. And then we have IAS 40, which is investment properties. That is also an asset. All these are assets, right? Yeah, IAS 36 is intangible asset. Great. Thank you, Irfan. So IAS 36 is intangible asset. IAS 38 is impaired. Yeah, I always get confused between those two. Right? Now, everything, those which forms that definition that it is an economic resource controlled by the entity, where we are as a result of a past result, as a past event of the business, and we are expected to receive economic benefit. When you think about these asset and expenses, why AC is capitalized? The reason is I can pick it up from here. Few of the things as Nitish said is also right. Rhythm said is also right. Advertisements is intangibles? No. Rhythm said it's long-term economic benefit in AC. Correct. Swayam said it is considered to be part of the building, hence given economic benefit. So you are receiving some economic benefits. That is also right. But when it comes to SBR, we need to explain in depth. How we'll explain? Simple, but how will we explain? We'll say that we purchased the AC, and the AC, by using it in the business, we generate economic benefits. It is used, as Shreya said, it is used in the ordinary course of the business, as you rightly said. It is ordinary course of the business. And as Irfan has mentioned, the cost is measured reliably. When you buy an AC, you can measure the cost. It is controlled by the entity. The entity can decide whether I want to switch it off, switch it on. If I don't want to switch it off and switch it on, I don't want to do that. It is used for more than one accounting period. When it comes to economic benefit, when you're using an AC in premises, right, what happens? Customers might come. Yes, that is one way of looking at it. But when you're using and when you switch on the AC, what will happen? You will have to bear higher amount of electricity expense. Am I right? So in a way, when you're getting revenue, what is happening? Your cost is also increasing, right? Right. So that cannot be alone the reason why we are capitalizing an AC. The AC is considered as an asset because it first meets the definition of an asset. It meets the definition of an asset. Why? Because it is an entity or it is an item or economic resource that is controlled by the entity, expected to receive some kind of economic benefit. Let us say I use the AC for 5 years. It got damaged. I used the AC for 5 years. It got damaged. What will I do? What do you guys do? Will you throw it out or will you give it for scrap? You scrap it. When you scrap it, what will you get? You might get 100 rupees. Even that is an economic benefit, right? So it is an asset. AC is considered nothing like an economic resource, which is used in your business for a long-term nature. And you generate certain kind of economic benefits, right? And what we are doing, once you have purchased their AC, once you have used it in the business, in the next accounting period, what will you do? We do one more thing for that AC. If it is an IA 16, what do we do? If AC is considered as an IA 16, what do? We have to do one thing. What is that? FR students or FR completed people. What do? If it is an AC, we purchase the AC, we used it for 1 year. What we have to do? Depreciate it. Very good. So when we are buying an AC, we are using it. The cost, whatever we incurred, we are showing it as an asset. So you are debiting the asset and crediting the cash. Why? Because you might use it for more than 1 year. But once the year end comes or at the end of the year, what do? Right? You depreciate it. Debit depreciation expense and credit accumulated depreciation. So even AC, we are expensing it, but we are not expensing it together immediately when we are purchasing it. We are expensing it over the period of time as we use. But when it comes to expenses, they don't meet the definition. The important definition, the important difference between an expense and an asset is someone said over here, Mohammad Irfan, you rightly mentioned, control. There is no control. Second, economic benefit. Can you tell that because you are spending electricity, you will be generating economic benefit? No, because you are spending for advertisement. Will you be able to generate economic benefit? Can you say that very strongly? Okay, I spend for advertisement. I will be able to get revenue. Can I say that strongly? Not confirmed. Not at all confirmed. I cannot say that. No, you cannot never say that. How will you say that? If I spend for advertisement, do you think that it will get converted? No. So let us say there are 15 students over here. I'm giving you this free orientation. Do you really think that The entire 15 might take class. Definitely entire 15 might take class. Let me think of that part. But let's say that I'm spending for advertisement. I reached 100 people. Do you think that the entire 100 people will take my class? Not necessarily, right? There will be certain students who might be interested with my class. There are certain students who might not. I should accept that fact. So you cannot generally say that the economic benefits, even when you spend for advertisement, everything will get converted into revenue. And you are using it only for 1 year. Once you spend, let's say that I spent for advertisement in the current year. Next 4 years, I don't have to spend. Can I say that? No, it is only for one accounting period. So expenses occur for generally one accounting period. You don't have control over it. You don't have control over it for the amount that you're spending. You cannot say that this is the control. And there's no certainty that you will generate economic benefit. Because of that, it does not meet the definition of an asset, but it meets the definition of an expense. Now, you understood the perspective. The perspective that you are expected to write in SBR is that you need to start with the definition. You need to mention why a transaction is considered as an asset, or in fact, if it is an intangible asset, intangible, or tangible, tangible. And after that, what do you do? You have to explain that as well. Once you're considered as an asset, subsequently, what do you do? That is also considered. So in the entire scheme of things, does it mean that we need to remember and learn? Definition doesn't mean that you have to by heart. See, I don't by heart. I don't remember. See, I made a mistake when it comes to IAS 36 and 38. Yeah, I always make a mistake because I don't remember the standard's name or number. No. But you need to understand. The understanding the definition is the primary and foundational step of writing well in your SBR exam. You need to understand the definition. Why an asset is considered as an asset, why a transaction is considered as an asset, or why a transaction is considered as an expense, why a transaction is considered as PPE, etc., etc. And how do you get that? How do you understand that? When you read, when you listen, when you do questions, when you understand or read the answers, or when you explain, that's when you understand. Yeah, you have to understand the definition. Otherwise, that's what they're testing you. That's what they're testing. Okay. So once you're done with the measurement, the third step is presentation. Presentation in financial statement. How do you present? Tangible asset, property, plant, and equipment under fixed asset, tangible non-current asset, long term, intangible asset, separate out, inventory, current asset. So how do you present it? Leases, lease liability, split between non-current liability, current liability, presentation. Deferred tax, show it as a liability, non-current liability. Current tax as a current liability. Financial instrument, financial asset, under asset, investments, or loans or debts. Liability, financial liability within the liability section. And finally, you have something that is called as disclosure, right? For FR, you would have studied recognition, measurement, presentation for majority of the standard, but you would not have learned disclosure. For SBR, you have to learn disclosure as well. It will be tested for your SBR exams, the disclosure part as well. And that is very important. Okay. So far, any questions? Okay. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss or show you the syllabus pattern, okay, of your SBR. See, before you even start SBR, as students, I'm going to tell you something which is a very important tool of ACCA. But majority of the students doesn't know there's something like this. There's something that is called as Student Virtual Learn of ACCA. If you go to accglobal.com, there is something called as Student VLC. You can just simply Google it. One question about the classes. Yes, Swayam, you can ask. Okay. So whenever you're ready, you can ask. That's okay. Yeah. So there is something that is called as Student VLC, Student Virtual Learn of ACCAglobal.com. If you go to the Student Virtual Learn of ACCAglobal.com, there are some get ready modules. Okay. If you go to the get ready modules, this is English and Maths. Some quizzes are also there. I don't recommend that. There is something that is called as self-check quizzes for FR and self-check quizzes for SBR. These are all classes that we get will be recorded by you, or the classes were recorded in live classes. No, they are not recorded in live classes. They are all pre-recorded. Sub classes are pre-recorded. The entire syllabus is pre-recorded. There are few topics I would like to discuss in live, right? So if you take the live premium batch, there are certain topics which are discussed in live additional to the ones which are recorded. But pretty much everything is pre-recorded. There are question practices which are solved in live. That is put it in the classes in the app as well. But everything is pre-recorded. Okay. There is something that is called as financial reporting self-check quiz and SB, strategic business reporting self-check quiz. And this is really good, okay? Because I would recommend you, this is a refresher of your knowledge of FR, right? And then refresher of the knowledge of SBR. This is very important because once you do this, you'll get a perspective of what are the types of questions that may ask, how you can, revise your SBR language, etc. Majority of the students doesn't know this. Before you even start SBR, I would recommend you to go through this particular quiz. You can log in through this particular thing using your username and password, which is your ACC ID and your password. This is a very good platform. Try to use that. Try to use that. Okay. Okay. I think I pretty much covered the left part as an overview of SBR already. Okay. I would like to explain about a couple of things. One is SBR exam have two sections. In your skill level exams, majority of your exams have three sections, isn't it? You have three sections in your skill level exams, section A, B, and C. But in pre-level, you have only two sections. Audit, you had two sections, section A and B. But in P level, you have two sections, section A and section B. Section A 50 marks, section B 50 marks. Section A will have two questions, which means two scenarios worth 30 marks and 20 marks. And in one question or the question one, the first question itself, you will have something that is called as pre-populated spreadsheet. Don't worry. If you're confused about these terms, don't worry. I will show you an examination format, then you will understand. There is something that is called as pre-populated spreadsheet. In pre-populated spreadsheet, you will be given consolidation financial statement. Consolidation financial statement you will be given. What you have to do? You have to rectify them. Those consolidated financial statements have mistakes, or there are certain adjustments which have not been passed in that consolidated financial statement. You need to make changes to that directly in the spreadsheet. In section A, 20 marker question, you might have ethics. Once you come to the P level, ethics will be tested in every part of the exam. Specifically, SBR and AAA. Very important, ethics. In ethics question, you will be given situations or scenarios like there is an accountant, he made this mistake and he tried to hide it. Now I found out that this is a mistake. What will you do? Now, what should the accountant do? Like that, situations will be there. There will be self-interest threat. Oh, I am a temporary accountant. I might have chance to become permanent if I listen to the boss. But the boss is asking me to do something wrong. Ethical issue. The company is giving me stocks, but the company is having some issues with revenue and they need a funding. Let me try to do something. Ethical issue. So you are required to explain certain ethical issues in the section A 20 marker question. In section B 25 marker question, you have two questions which will be primarily from the standards. And in one 25 marker question, there will be certain current issues that will be discussed. I mean, there is a latest topic that have been included in the current syllabus. As you know, ACCA syllabus runs in what for 4 semesters, which is 1 year, which is September to June. So September 2025 to June, a new syllabus or new standard was introduced that is called as IFRS 18. In December examination, IFRS 18 was tested. So we cannot do a predicting game saying that, oh, you know what, December SBR IFRS 18 was tested. This time they might not test it. Not necessarily, they might test it. They might ask questions on IFRS 18. You have to be prepared. You have to be prepared. Section B, they will definitely ask questions about various standards. In section A, primarily it will be from consolidation and ethics. Section B, from various standards. And the questions will be show with calculation, explain with calculation. Or they might say assess, or they might say justify this. So you need to understand the verbs, what it means. What does explain means? Explain means to make an idea clear. You need to give, as I told you, from the basics of how a concept is developed and how it is presented in the financial statement. And you have to also say why. So I asked you the question, right? Why AC is considered as an asset? And what we got? We got beautiful answers from the students. Like that, you have to think whenever there is a scenario, why they have done this. You have to think from the standard, why that standard is asking us to do that. And that's what I'm here to help you with. I'm going to explain to you the why. Assess, you need to evaluate, you need to mention the significance, etc. In justify, you have to show with calculations or conclusions. Let's say, for example, in a scenario, they would say, I have received a revenue and I have recognized it as debit cash credit revenue. Now you have to justify whether this transaction that I have recorded is correct or not. So you need to pick up the transaction or pick up the scenario and explain with the situations and explain by referring to the standard that Prashant has recognized this transaction. He has debited cash and credited revenue. That is correct. Because it is a revenue and as per the scenario, we have sold the products and we have received the money. So we can recognize the cash and the credit revenue. So that is justification. That is justification. See, when you're in a school, you came late. Now the teacher asks you, why you came late? What do you do? Traffic jam. You will say traffic jam. You will say got up late. You will say Mummy, Papa didn't wake me up. You might say tire puncture, etc. If you just say all these, right, these are not explanations. Teacher asked you, explain why you are late. If you just say traffic jam, if you just say, tire puncture, or you said car breakdown, these are, you're just stating. You're just mentioning or just listing the points. No. Explain means what? You have to give a detailed explanation. Ma'am, I'm sorry that I'm late. The reason I'm late is because when I woke up in the morning, it was already late. My alarm got switched off and I didn't hear the alarm. And when I got onto the road and started to take my bicycle, and in the midway, what happened was my bicycle got punctured due to a nail. And I had to remove the nail and, push my bicycle and walk along with it to the school. And that's the reason I am late. See, that's an explanation. Got up late, bicycle punctured. When you say that, or when you just mention it as one sentence, it's just stating. Just stating. Right? Now, in justification, what happens? Your teacher will ask, hey, why did you fight with that student? So now what you'll do, you'll justify your points. He started first. He hit me, or he was teasing me. He called me a bad word. That's why I punched him. Now that is justification. There will you say that, teacher, bad word, punched. What is that? That is just stating, right? And nobody will understand. So you need to, when you explain or when you justify, you need to understand the difference between these two verbs. when it comes to explain, you are giving a detailed story. You're giving a story of what happened, why it happened, and what are the reasons for happening. Right? And don't worry about these things. Right now, I'm just telling you all these matters. And when you go and write the exam, we'll definitely, when you're going and studying every week, when we have live sessions, we will definitely discuss all of these things. There is something that is called as professional marks, which are for 4 marks. Only 4 marks are there. Section A, 2 marks. Section B, 2 marks. Section A, majority of the time, it will be in relation to the ethics. Section B, for certain stakeholder requirements, stakeholder focused questions, you might have 2 marks. What is professional marks? How you explain, whether you are explaining it well, whether you are giving examples, whether you are articulating things well, whether you are stating the matters, whether you are quoting the standards or definitions of the standards. You don't need to mention. In SBR, ACCA has made it very clear, or even in FR, ACCA has made it very clear that mentioning the name and number of the standard, you will not get marks. You don't need to remember the name and number of the standard. IAS 38, as per IAS 38, not required to write. You will not be able to get marks for that. No marks for IAS, writing IAS 38. All you need to write is as per the standard. At least that we can do, right? Students, what do you say? Can we say as per the standards? As per the standards. We can say that, right? We don't need to remember the IAS number or name. Not necessary. Yeah, not necessary. We just have to write as per the standard. Right? Definitely big relief. Yes, that's good. Definitely, you are required to quote data or details from the scenario, which means you have to pick up the statements from the scenario and point it out or counterpoint it or explain it. In scenario, they have mentioned like this. So you should say that the company have done this. The company have done that. In ethics, this person have done this, which is incorrect. This person has done that. It is unethical. So treat the scenario like a real entity. Don't treat it like your exam. See, majority of the time, our examination style, or in our teaching style, in India's teaching style, we are always one-way communication. We just learn and spit. That's it. We learn by heart, spit. We never try to understand and articulate in a much better way. Like if you have seen the movie 3 Idiots, I like it very well. Amir Khan, the first day itself, it says that a question is asked to him, what is a machine? Right? He just says that machine is something that makes your life easy. That's it. That's more than enough, right? When you are understood the concept, once you have understood what a machine does, to explain, we don't need to mention the definition. And the other guys goes through a lot of, like a robot, he gives all kinds of definition for a machine. Not necessary. Machine is something that, makes your life easy. Correct? Now, that's what is needed when it comes to ACCA examination. You're required to understand the concept and explain in a very simple, cordial language. You don't need to have a very good vocabulary. You don't need to this is not an English exam. But you are required to quote from the scenario and explain in a very normal way what the scenario says, how you can recognize it, what are the things that you need to do. As simple as that. That's it. Right? You need to have good knowledge, application of the knowledge and understanding. Significantly more marks will be allocated to written answers than numerical answers. Right? So as I told you, even if you have calculations, you don't explain anything, you will not get marks. You will not get good marks. But even if you don't show calculations, but you are able to explain everything, you will get full marks. SBR is a written or a narrative or a theory paper. It is not a problem paper. It is not a problem paper. No sentence phrasing skills. It's not an English exam. Not an English exam at all. No your grammatical spelling errors are not counted. See, my English is also not perfect. Okay, I don't read books. Okay, I don't read books. I'm telling you this very openly. I don't read books. I'm very bad in reading. I couldn't speak well when I was in my class, in my 11th standard or 12th standard. I was not speaking good in English, but it was just practice. And in ACCA, I know that this is what they will be doing. This is what is required to do. Don't by heart. Just understand. Understand the concept, understand the scenario, think of the standard. But when you learn the standard, now take it deep. Understand everything about the standard. And I'm telling you, I love accounts. I love standards. Standards, I just love them. And I know I can go very much deep in the standard. I can go very deep in financial instruments. I can give you a lot of examples, not just not just theoretical, but practical examples of why financial instruments shown like this, why an asset is shown like that. You will get to know all that when you actually start learning. But that is what is needed. Forget about scoring marks. Think about when you're studying a topic, whether you are able to answer a topic and am I able to explain it to a small person. You know what I used to do when I was studying? I used to explain it to my relatives or my sister that this is the topic, this is what I have studied, and I'm going to explain you. And when I explain to them, if my sister has understood well, that means I have understood the concept well and I'm able to explain it well. That's the only test that is required you to know. Because if someone who doesn't know accounting, they understand what you're trying to say, it means you will get past the paper. Think the examiner is a stupid guy or a stupid person. He doesn't know anything. Think in that direction. Now, how will you explain to a person who doesn't know anything? How will you explain to the person your complex accounting standards? Keep it simple. I have only one rule. Keep it simple. Whatever the standard, take the definition of a standard. Take the four aspects I've told you. Recognition, measurement, initial and subsequent, presentation, disclosure. That's it. Explain these four of that particular scenario. Give a conclusion. If they have done something wrong in the scenario, state that is wrong. That is not the way you should record. You have to record in so and so way. That's it. Always remember this. It's very simple. Take the concept, read the scenario, understand whether they have made some mistakes or no mistakes, what they are trying to say, which standard that is reflecting. Whatever the standard, give the definition of the standard. Like start with the definition. Start giving what the standard tries to say. Then you relate to the scenario, saying that the calculations is so and so. And as per standard, this is what we have to do. And in scenario, if they have made a mistake, quote that mistake and say that this is incorrect because the standard, you should not do this, you should do that. Give a conclusion. Trust me, you will pass the paper with flying colors. You will pass the paper with flying colors. No questions asked. That's the simplest rule that I have. I don't know. I cannot tell you like I don't have anything like 1,000 shortcuts or 1,000 secrets to pass SBR exam. There's no secret. The secret is there is no secret recipe. Like in the movie Kung Fu Panda, they say there is no secret recipe. The secret recipe is very simple. Whatever you know, explain it very well. Until and unless you're able to explain very well, keep practicing. That's it. That's it. Until and unless you're able to explain very well, keep practicing. See, when you're studying a question, when you're studying a topic, when you write it for the first time, will you make a mistake? Yes, of course you will make a mistake. I have made a mistake. If I go and write an SBR exam right now, I might not pass the paper. Why? Because I'm not prepared. Even I have to sit for 3 months, refer everything, revise the questions, attempt mock exams, then go and write the exam. Only then I will also pass. So when you're writing the question for the first time, you will make 1,000 mistakes. That's good. Each mistake is a learning opportunity. You will rectify your mistakes. Only through mistakes we will learn. Now, the important aspect is constant practice, constant revision. Writing at least 4 mock exams. Not 1, not 2, 4. Getting it corrected from me. I will correct 3 mock exams. When I am correcting 1 mock exam, I will not correct it by my own. What I will do, I will sit with you and I will tell you how I'm going to give you marks, why I'm going to give you marks. In one class, I will show you how to correct your mock exam itself. How do I look at the answer and how do I give you the marks? I will show you that. And then you can correct it yourself. For the last mock exam. These are all very important as a learning technique. Majority of the students, why they don't pass is, this is accaglobal.com. Our website is vguide.in. Okay. Yeah. This is ACCA's essential pass paper. You will get it in your study hub directly. What is very important you need to understand is very simple. Okay. Whatever you pass the paper, it is very simple. Majority of the students, they don't pass the paper because they complicate things. Second, they try to explain in a summarized manner without stating it, articulating it. Student virtual learn. Very good. So that's what you're mentioning. Student VLC. Okay. I can give you the website as well over here. Link I've shared with you. Okay. Majority of the time, students don't pass the paper, not because they have not understood the concept. It's because of wrong exam technique. They don't explain very well. They don't get the time. Time management is a very key area because it's theory. You have to explain so much things. Time management. They don't manage their time well. How can you manage your time? When you write a mock exam, when you have 3 hours, 15 minutes exam, you cut short it to 2 hours, 45 minutes. Keep an alarm for 2:45 and see whether you're able to finish it. Every time you practice a question, keep an alarm. If it is a 20-mark question, keep an alarm for 20 minutes and see if you're able to finish it within 20 minutes. If it is a question for 15 marks, keep an alarm for 14 minutes or 13 minutes and try to see if you're able to finish it. That exam pressure should be incorporated into your daily studies right from day one, which is from the next day that you started to study. Use the CB platform, use the ACCA's study hub very well. There are quizzes that is available. Use the practice questions that is available. Past exam question, because in classes, one thing that I always focus is on the past exam question paper. I don't just take revision kit questions. I first go to the latest past exam question paper, solve that in the class, in real actual class. Right? That's how you will pass the paper. Right? So now you go to I'm going to just show you the revision kit. A sample exam. I'm sorry, not a revision kit, but a sample exam. See, this is a sample exam. Let me just launch the CB. Okay, this is a sample question paper. This section A, there's one scenario. You are given exhibits. As I told you, when it comes to SBR, you are already an accountant. They give you some data. You have to read that data, read the exhibit. Oh, what does the standard says? So it says that layout acquired 45% of equity share in Brosec. We know when a company acquires 45% in another entity, significant influence associate. Pension plan. Okay. This is what employee benefit. They are giving us data. And there are requirements. Where is the requirement? See, it's given. Using exhibit 1, consolidated financial statement, explain this. Using exhibit 2, explain with calculations. Exhibit 2 and 3, it is pre-populated. As you can see, the entire question, only 14 marks, you are going to use Excel. See, in pre-populated spreadsheet, they will give you, in exhibit 4, they will give you like a spreadsheet like this. Or when you launch your exam software, see, this is similar to an ACCA exam software. I don't want to show this. But in your spreadsheet, the data will be present. I think I will show the past practice, ACCA practice platform. Okay. Okay. Then second question, it's all about ethics for 20 marks. Then you have third section B, you have all these questions, right? So this is how the sample exam comes. I'll just show you the spreadsheet one so that you can get an understanding of in spreadsheet how it goes through. SBR. So we will be solving all the questions, past exam questions. We'll be prioritizing on the past exam questions. The latest past exam questions is what we'll be prioritizing in the classes. So as you can see, this is, okay, this is question 4. Let me go to the question 1. So yeah, this is the question 1. And these are the exhibits that is given. So in your left-hand side, this is the summary of the scenario. So in this they will mention what are the exhibits that's available, which company is this, etc. And there will be certain exhibits. Can you see this exhibit? See exhibit 1. Then you have exhibit 2. Then you have exhibit 3. Right? Then you have exhibit 4. This exhibit 4 is the spreadsheet, as I told you, pre-populated spreadsheet. Now where you have to write for the pre-populated spreadsheet, you have to open your spreadsheet. See, as you can see, this data is already given. And how I have solved it, all the adjustments, I have mentioned it over here. And I have solved it over here. Right? And created the totals, etc. Can you see over here? And there are certain workings are also I'm supposed to do. So those workings also I have done. And in a word processor, I will explain other exhibits, other requirements. If I go to the requirement, only the requirement number, this one, I was supposed to do it in pre-populated spreadsheet. But in word processor, every other requirement, I'm doing it over here. Hedge accounting, all those things. Okay, clear? Right? Now, in my classes, let me just tell you, or let me just explain to you. Just going to share my screen over here. There are 2 types of classes that we offer. One is a basic, 3 recordings or a basic or standard, and then we offer, we also offer the live sessions once. In live session once, it happens during weekends. In basic and standard, you will get all the recordings. My team will give you all the details. You will get the recordings of past exam questions, everything. In basic, you will not get any mock exams, but in standard, you will get mock exams, and the mock exams, couple of them will be evaluated by the tutor. You will get 4 mock exams, couple of them will be evaluated. In premium, there will be additional to the recordings, you will have live questions, doubt support, all those things. Even in standard and basic, you will get doubt support, but only through WhatsApp. In premium, you will also get 4 mock exams, and all the 4 mock exams are going to be evaluated by the tutor. This will be the pricing, the prices and everything my team will share with you. We'll put it in the app, in the group. But till 21st March, this pricing will hold. After 21st March, the pricing is going to change. Okay. In standard, you will also get ebooks of BPP. Not necessary that you have to buy, but if you want, you can buy. Premium also, you will get the ebooks, but in basic, you will not get the ebooks. Now, when it comes to live classes, how do I take the live classes? The live classes are happening on weekends. Okay. Till April 30th, it will only be 1 day in a week, which is on Saturday or Sunday. Till April 30th, only 1 day in a week. The reason is because we need to give you the planner, and according to the planner, majority students might complete the planner or they might not. So if you have completed the planner, then we will discuss the questions in the class. But initially, we take a slow route. We want students to get comfortable. We want them to read, etc. Right? So if we take 2 classes, students are not prepared. So in the first month, we will have only 1 day in a week. From May first week onwards, first week onwards, you will have 2 to 3 sessions. Depends on the students' progress. If the students have progressed well, we'll do 2 sessions, minimum 2 sessions. If you need additional support, we will do 3 sessions, 3 sessions in a week. The sessions either will be in the evening, right? But if it is weekends, it might be in the morning or evening. And it depends upon the batch. Like if you have few students who have joined and how we are planning it, that's how it will be dependent on. Right? And in live classes, we don't just sit and solve the doubts. We ask the progress, we discuss the progress, we check your doubts, we explain the doubts, and then we solve the questions, etc. And that's what when in May first week, it's all about question practice. So that's given more priority during May. But in first week of April, first month, in the first April month, March and April month, it's all about solving your queries, understanding where you are, what you have done, if you have any doubts, questions, etc. Explaining you that. Maybe when you read the watch the video, you might not have understood a point. You might request me, sir, can you please explain it much better? Or can you please give me some other example? Can you just explain to me in a different way? I'm there for you. Right. Apart from that, my number is already shared. It's in the group. You can reach out to me anytime and solve your question. But let me tell you something that what makes you pass the paper is not all these. It's about your effort. If you put, I am only contributing 20 to 30% of your success. You are contributing 100%. That's how we pass the paper. If you give consistent efforts, definitely you will pass. If you don't give consistent efforts, you might. You need to be giving enough and consistently passing, writing in order to practicing in order for you to pass the paper. Is that clear, guys? Okay. All right. So 7.48. If you're if you want, 48.7. If you have decided to take the classes, please, you can contact this number. You can also visit our website, vguide.in. This is also my contact number. Even if you have not taken my classes, if you want to have some kind of career guidance or anything, you can take down this number and I'm happy to help you. Yeah, sure. This is the BPP ebook. The course book is like this. You have all the topics. As you can see, the depth of the syllabus is very heavy. If you go to the topic, right, all the topics are mentioned. There will be questions, illustrations. There will be also questions. I can show you the questions. Activities. There are something that is called as activities.
Your screen is not shared.
Oh, okay. My bad. Let me just show you. Okay. Just coming up. So this is the ebook, which is the course book, the textbook. Within the textbook, you have like a lot of chapters. You have the contents. It is within a app which is called as Vital Source Bookshelf. You will be given a code. Once you redeem the code, that book account will be the book will be added to your account. You need to create an account and redeem that code. And then within the ebook, you have a lot of activities and everything, and the explanations are also pretty much given. One thing that I like about BPP is that they use kind of like a PPT format. Each topic are not very detailed orientally discussed, but they are discussed whatever is required for you to know. But additional topics, if you want to read more or you need more questions, they are there in the essential reading. Also, there are certain other things which are given. Study resource, additional mock. There is also additional mock exam. Majority of the student doesn't know about this mock exam. But here, apart from your regular mock exam, which is 4 mock exams that we give you, you can have additional mock exam over here. Right? If you just click on the link, I think you just have to copy. Okay. Yeah. So there are a lot of things that is available for you in BPP. And this is the kit where you have all these questions. So there is question index. If you go to the question index, this is the question and you have the solution to it right below this. Yeah. Right. Check your solution. Right. Yeah. As you can see, this is a question and see how detailed they have explained. Right. You don't need to worry or you don't need to how much should I write? You just need to write what should you write. That's all. Focus on the what. Don't say how much you should write. Okay. So all these informations are there. Do we have to do exam kit after completion of each chapter? No, not immediately. I will tell you. I will give you the planner. In the first live session, I will be taking initial live sessions. I will be taking the questions. First you focus on completing the topics. Your focus should be on completing the topics. What you should do is study hub is for you. Go to your study hub, ensure you complete the quizzes. This quiz actually will help you quite a lot. In practice, you can do practice. See what happens in revision kit is that if you take a question, right? If I take this question, in this question, various standards are discussed. They are discussing leases over here. They are discussing KPIs over here. They're discussing about IFRS 16 over here. So there are a lot of discussion that happens. For example, in this question, they're talking about intangible asset, development cost. They're talking about cryptocurrencies. Another question you take. Here they are talking about some investor explanation, non-current assets. They are then talking about referring to hedging, financial instruments, etc. So multiple chapters actually make up one question in revision kit. So initially, at least in the first 2 weeks, your focus should not be to start with the revision kit. Your focus should be to complete and follow the planner. I will share with you the planner when you take the classes. It's already available in the planner. If you go to my website, and specifically for students who are exempted route, what I offer more. If you take my classes, I'll just show you my classes in VGuide website. So take the classes, right? I have already included FR topics, FR videos within the SBR classes. So if you look at the view lesson, within the material section, you have all the faculty notes. Okay. Up to 15 chapters the notes are. Certain chapters I have not included because it's not that necessary. Every topic you take, for example, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, right? There are certain FR topics. Sometimes for revenue, what will happen? You'll be very bad in FR, which means you have not understood in FR or you have not remembered. You can watch their FR topic. But if you are a person who is very good in revenue, you know the standard very well. I don't need to review, or I can go to the study hub, very quickly summarize it and come back. You don't need to watch these videos. It's optional. But SBR videos are additional concept we are discussing in revenue. Right of return, transaction price, identify contract with customer, contract modification, crowdfunding, specific transaction. I've also given a practical example. When I purchased the Samsung Ultra 25 phone, how they recognize revenue, I thought about it and prepared this as a exercise for you. You can watch that video. It's good. Ignore the 0 second. That's something different. But yeah. If you're an exempted student, there are exempted students. What happens? Mandatorily, you have to watch the FR part and only then come to the SBR part. Because exemption students would not have written FR. Go through that FR part. Take your time. Right? Take your time. There are also planners over here, weekly planner, right? It's just opening up. So the planner is given over here, right? How to approach the faculty details. Week 1, what you have to do. Week 2, what you have to do. Week 3, what you have to do. Week 4, what you have to do. Right? Like that we have to discuss. And every time when we meet for a live session, I will be telling you what topics I will be taking in the next week. I'll be telling you these are the topics that I'll be covering in the next week. I'll be telling you that. And you need to prepare for that. And that's what we are going to discuss. And that's the progression that will happen. You will be given a progression sheet and you will have to adjust it accordingly. Right? Right? But the perspective is that you're coming out of the student's perspective. All three plans, same planner. The planner doesn't change. For you, it is this. What you get is different in each plan. That's all. The planner doesn't change. As you can see, I've also mentioned in revision what are there, mock what you have to do, etc. Week 10, what you have to do, etc. There are also how to redeem the book codes mentioned, and certain technical topics are also mentioned over here. Right? All the standards details are also mentioned, and useful links. All the links are also mentioned. Okay? Is that clear, guys? Any questions? Okay. If no questions, thank you guys so much. As I told you, I've shared with you my number as well. If you have any further doubts or questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Happy to help. Here's that so that we can just get to know how it looks like. You can watch the demo. The demos are already uploaded. I've closed it again. I've already closed it. What I can, you open the website, right? If you go to the courses, you go to ACCA English. There are already demo videos uploaded over here. So you can get the demo video, chapter 2, etc. And if you want, I can show you. Right. So this chapter revenue. Yeah. Yeah. You will not be able to hear because I've not shared the audio. So this is how it looks like. Because I'm sharing as well, the internet is a bit slow. We have to be assessed. There are also revision kit questions, a lot of questions that I've also planned. Okay. Can you please explain? Yeah. When to do the exam kit? Yeah. When to do the exam kit? That's what I have to explain, right, Ria? Yes. Exam kit, you have to start not in the first 2 weeks. The third week, I will tell you. Don't worry, I'm there for you, right? I will tell you the third week onwards, you have to start from March, which is April first week. You have to start your exam kit. Once you have completed at least 10 chapters, which is the standards chapter, at least you completed that, only after that you start your exam kit. Initially, your for progress should be to complete the topics, right? And also in exam kit, you can pick up pointers. Like if you look at here, go to question index, go to the next page. There's something like this. So if let's say, for example, you have completed revenue. Let's say you've completed revenue. Where is revenue over here? Yeah. Revenue. Question 23, 25, 34, 37, 39, 43. Test the revenue topic. But if you go to 25, in that scenario, there will be other topics also mentioned. So you might get confused. So that's why I told you, at least you complete revenue, intangible, tangible assets, some topics, leases, etc. So that you can watch start doing the revision kit. Wait for at least April 1st week or April 2nd week to start your exam kit. But you can practice questions. How you can practice questions? In course book itself, there are activities. Complete those activities. Go to Study Hub, do the quizzes. That's what you have to do. In revision kit, you have to start at least only by April midweek. And I will, when you join the live classes, I will give you questions. I'll tell you, Ria, you go and do this question. Give me the answer. We'll discuss it in the class. And I'll correct it and give you. There will be also test paper at the end of the April month. Start watching planner week 1. If you're starting it from tomorrow or today, you can start watching the classes tomorrow itself. When you purchase the course, definitely you can start watching it immediately. Week 1 is considered as which week you are starting. If you're starting today, week 1 is the coming week. Starting next week, your week 1 is the day which you have started. Now, as you progress, let's say you're buying the classes only by April, then you are at the week 5 or week 6. Then you have to finish everything quickly. Okay. Whenever you have purchased, next day itself, start watching the videos. All right. So there's the mixed group in this. There are, that's why I'm speaking more in English, but in online, we'll depend upon who are there in the classes. There could, if it is more Hindi, I will use Hindi. There is more Malayalam students, I will use Malayalam. In offline classes, I have Malayalam students. For you guys, the classes will start from the next week seriously. But you can start studying. Come to my offline center, start studying. I know that you're in offline. I'll meet you on offline classes. We'll discuss topics, what you have to do in the next week. Research students, don't worry. Your plan will be a little bit different. The first week of, that is in the next week, once you have taken the classes in the next week, I will have a separate session for you for reset and how you need to coordinate. I will tell you. But in the first week, all you need to focus on, revise. Start watching the videos and start learning, relearn. There is unlearn and relearn. Unlearn everything. Whatever you have gone through, you just unlearn and start relearning. That's what research students should focus on. And next week, I will guide you specifically what you should be, other things that you need to look at. Exemption students, as I've already told you, FR and SBR videos are mandatory for you. Normal SBR students, no need to go for FR as an optional. You can directly watch the SBR videos if you are good in FR. If you don't remember, 2 years back I wrote FR, sir. 1 year back I wrote FR, sir. I don't remember FR, sir. Sorry. You can watch those videos as a quick revision. If you're able to read the notes and summarize yourself, not an issue. You don't have to watch the videos. It's just optional. I put it over there so that you can understand. That's it. With that, thank you so much, guys. We have concluding the topic here, concluding your classes. Thank you. Meet you for the classes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Darshan. Thank you.